Da 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 da. And welcome everyone to the Elimination Chamber 2025 Court Martial podcast made by professional wrestling fans for professional wrestling fans. And what a time it is to be a professional wrestling fan. Up is east, black is yellow. I don't even know what's going on anymore. The world has been turned upside down. The people we love are no longer the people we love. And did you lie to cancer patients? I am the colonist. And I am here to bring you all of my reviews of what's going down here at the town where everything that we say is profound. But I am not here alone, because with me, as always, is the champion of positivity. He is the king of enlightenment. He is the czar of happiness, cheer, and delight. He is just like Ron Burgundy without the mustache, but with a better looking face. He is the man of the hour. He is the man with the power. He is too sweet to be sour. He is the Bay Area Brawler himself, Skyler Greenberg. How you doing? Don't be afraid to lie.
I am on top of a world that I don't know where I belong in. But where I do belong is at the top of the professional wrestling scene, doing my damn royalty check, Triple H, because you stole some of my ideas.
Yeah, I know. They've been tapping at the well pretty hard with the National Wrestling League complaint, Sky. It's like I've been going back and listening to that going, well, damn, I mean, Skyler basically gave them the blueprint for when Vince retired. And it's pretty wild to see how that's all come to pass. But eventually we will get our due acknowledgement. But speaking of acknowledging people, we have to talk about man number 3. He is the simulcasting, barely lasting Minuteman himself. But that's only because he has not allowed anyone to actually experience the phenomenon that is that experience, because there ain't no rang on dat fanger. And I don't know why every time I introduce this dude, I have to mention that he's a virgin, but we've got a streak to maintain. JoshAgeddon, how you doing, buddy?
I was so badly hoping you would say, he hasn't let anyone experience the magnificence that is his penis. I thought that's where you were going with that. Also, you stole my intro, you piece of shit. Also, you stole... No, you stole my intro, you piece of shit. Also, you are your Colonial champion, not the Colonist. That's your other show. Aren't you also the
Sentinel? I'm not even the Colonist on
You're the
show.
Sentinel! You are the Sentinel, damn it, Sean! How many hats do you wear?
I am not getting paid for continuity, sir.
This is also the Totally Awesome Podcast. What's up, everybody? This is going to be an interesting show. Oh, man.
Well, it is getting back to what Skyler said, it is a strange world we live in. One might say a bizarro world. And that's where we find our residents.
Gosh dang Canada.
Chamber 2025. As we are in Toronto, and the home of the that means that we will have to, at some point, be eliminated in the first round pretty quickly. But we've got a long way before we get to that point. Why don't we get what you've got to say about this show, JoshAgeddon?
Well, I heard some of that, but I thought that Elimination Chamber 2025 was the best pay-per-view they've done since WrestleMania. This show was outstanding. I didn't love everything. There are a few things that I do have some nits to pick about, and there's one thing that I just kind of half-watched. But overall, I thought this show was absolutely magnificent, and I'm still trying to recover from the hangover of what happened at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It was jaw-dropping in my estimation, but we'll get to that. Skyler, your impression of the show as loudly as you could possibly get it.
So, for me, this was a show about Pound of Flesh. Everybody taking a pound of flesh and doing what they could to make the best show possible. And that's the best part of it, right?
Well, and it certainly was one of the best shows possible, as they tried and I'm not saying I loved everything on the show. I had my little nitpicks, but considering what they laid on the table, We said at the Royal Rumble 2025, when we were a little perturbed about the direction they were heading, we had to just trust the process. And we have to trust the process here when it comes to WWE. And boy, have they made it worth it for us to do so over the past year and change, particularly on this night. But people, and we have to say, as wrestling fans, we very much appreciate that. But maybe somebody who wasn't appreciated was, in fact, the United States of America. As this poor girl was the American national anthem and got booed like Hulk Hogan at Raw on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it was, everyone was complaining about it, like, oh, why did they air that? Or like, it was stupid to do that. I think it was done deliberately as a means to get the heel pop going so then they can rally and get a gigantic babyface pop for when they sang the Canadian national anthem. They've seen hockey, they've seen what's happening in hockey when they have both national anthems and what's going on. There's no doubt WWE was leaning into that a little bit.
You might be right on that, but while it was happening, I was like, I wasn't mad at Canada. I was mad at WWE. I was like, how can you not read the room? If they did it on purpose, then Mazel Tov. But I'm kind of 50-50 on it, if I'm being honest.
Well, here's the thing. It's not just WWE. It's Pat McAfee getting mad at Canada.
Yeah, which then people like Fox News took literally, and they're like, as if Pat's not one of the biggest workers in the room, like, oh, Pat McAfee went on a tirade about Canada. Like, he's not being fucking serious. Like, relax. But, everybody can get worked every once in a while. I thought it was done deliberately, but it was definitely something. And this whole beginning of all of this, as they show Owens and Sami Zayn coming in, I like the fact that, like, Kevin Owens was looking at some of, like, the technical equipment, like wrenches, and go, like, oh, I could use that later. And just, like, picking up stuff and just adding it to his bag from the technical equipment that he would use in the unsanctioned match. He didn't. But in any case, it was a good start to the match, and we begin with the Women's Elimination Chamber, and boy, this was a roller coaster from start to finish.
Yeah.
Your initial thoughts on it, Josh, again.
This was, for someone who's like, women's wrestling, wah, a lot, this was the best women's chamber that they've ever done. This, there was I think it was you that said there was a little bit of a lull around the middle. But for the most part, this was absolutely fantastic. This was the best women's elimination chamber they've ever done.
Skyler?
At the end of the day, sorry, I'm in the middle of driving as I'm talking. This is how focused I am on a podcast. See, you get the driving edition. If you don't know, it'll sound like in a fishbowl in a second.
It's the drive.
The women's chamber was, again, as Joshua said, one of the best women's chambers. It's just WWE has the tendency to do great things and still annoy me.
Agreed.
Especially with the women. Always with the women.
It's pretty consistent with the ladies, I think, and it's partly them. We always say it's not these ladies' fault, but it's partly the ladies' fault.
Yeah.
But it's also partly the formatting of them and how they're treated, and sometimes just the way that they're booked or presented. Bayley's music still sucks. Here comes a rant. Whoever's doing the music, whoever's redoing all of these themes, stop it. Get some help. Because you are not good musicians. Logan Paul's music sucked. Bayley's music with this little addendum at the end sucks. There was 5 or 6 times, and I'm like, these themes are going to be terrible. Which scares me to death about John Cena.
Yeah.
Because I hope that they use Badman from that same album, because that would actually work for what's going on right now. But if they give them some Def Rebel cockamamie bullshit I'm going to be really annoyed.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And they go through the graphics. Liv Morgan has been in 6 Elimination Chambers.
She sure has.
6 Elimination Chambers.
All right.
But isn't that a good thing?
Well, I mean, she's never won, thank God.
Well, she's gotten kind of...
Here's the thing. We have gone from Liv Morgan being in the Riot Squad to being one of the top women in WWE, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, it goes to show how much presentation matters. You know, it goes to show how having a gimmick or having an actual personality can go a long way. Screaming and tattoos are not a gimmick.
Oh, and also having rainbow hair.
Yes, and I feel like we just singled out one wrestler really specifically.
Well, listen. I don't like driving Mercedes. What can I say?
You know,
I don't like driving Mercedes cars.
well,
and also
we're getting
money.
We're getting a little rowdy here. We don't want to. I actually totally forgot the bit that I was just about to do. Well, I'm sure it was rousing, but in any case,
stop. But I agree.
Even who I was making a joke about. We're getting rowdy. We shouldn't start a riot here or anything.
Okay.
Oh, but
3 more.
It wasn't even good. It was better my bad Ronda Rousey save. Anyway,
but
how many
Sean
people died for Bianca Belair's jacket?
I will say, before you get into that, I also agree about the music. It's so woefully... Everyone, like, especially in the women's chamber, everyone's theme is just so woefully generic and uninteresting. Guys.
Doesn't it say a lot that CFO's Bianca Belair had the best theme, even though it's, like, not even that great, but it's better by default?
It showcases her personality, or at least how her personality has been showcased throughout her career thus far. What is Bayley's personality based off her music? Nothing. Role model. That's it.
Yeah, but not even anymore.
Just...
And actually, the only thing that was even referenced about Bayley's personality was Roxanne Perez screaming at her.
Yeah.
At this chamber regarding it. But we get Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Bayley, and Bianca Belair in the pods. Liv Morgan comes out, and I assume that Bianca's jacket was made from the bald eagles that were sacrificed for the national anthem.
Or the bald eagles that were being ripped apart by Canadians during the national anthem.
Yeah.
they just had a spare, like, don't you do it, I'll rip his head off. And then...
But then she confused the hell out of me by wearing it in the pod.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Naomi comes in, and that's where I said, okay, these songs are really bad.
Yeah.
Naomi's revamped theme is awful.
Just no.
Yeah. And then...
At first, I was like, they're starting with Liv and Naomi. Just no.
Yeah.
BARF. Barf.
You want to talk about starting off hot, though?
Yes.
Because everyone their stomach acid was slowly rumbling to regurgitate. Out comes Jade Cargill.
Who looks like $1 million, by the way.
Always has been. But astronauts aside, you're right. She looks like the Storm. She looks tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
What was her injury? I know she got hurt pretty badly, but what was it?
No, it was a kayfabe injury. They had some whodunit knock her on top of a car.
Oh, so they just wanted her to go and train off screen for a while then.
Yeah, basically. It takes a long... Dude, listen. It takes a long time to scrub all of that AEW gunk off of somebody.
You're right.
Speaking of which, can I just say, them running Collision against this pay-per-view is the funniest thing ever. Good luck.
Well, they can't get much worse than they did last week, where they lost 75% of the audience. It was, you know, running it against this pay-per-view, they're still going to improve in the ratings.
Dude,
compared to
I've been thinking about this like the past couple of days. Well, I will briefly get back to the WWE and Chamber, but 2024 was the worst year ever for them because of all the stupid things they did to damage themselves as a company. This is already starting to become an even worse year because at least that was entertaining. This is just the year of apathy. Apathetic, embarrassing waste. That's what AEW's initials should stand for. Apathetic, embarrassing waste.
And I'm sure there's no buyer's remorse at all from Warner Discovery to get rid of the NBA for that.
You know what you should do? You know what you should do, Sean? You should cope.
No, I'm good.
Cope and seethe.
I'll Copenhagen.
Boo! Okay, now that was terrible.
All right, well,
anyways, the point though is that Jade Cargill comes in and Liv Morgan looks like she's scared, and then Jade Cargill beats the ever-loving shit out of Naomi.
And it was tremendous.
I've never seen
the only thing
where the heel gets destroyed.
Now, here's the thing, though. All this was great, but goddamn it, Bianca Belair's C-level horror movie screams was killing it.
No, I fundamentally disagree. That made it better. That made it better for me because I was like, oh, I feel for Bianca.
Actually, quite well.
Yeah, I loved it.
The facials were fine, but the voice that she was using, it sounded like she was dying in a C-level horror movie. I'm just like, come on, Bianca. I don't know. Like, the slasher's right there. It was almost... Okay, here's the thing. I won't say that she didn't try because she did. I thought she was too over the top, but that's just me.
This sounds like we're pitching that Bianca should be in more movies.
I'm good.
To gain experience.
No, she should be a better actress.
Well,
which I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Sky. I mean, at least like she didn't try to like fake cry. She was just screaming.
Oh, that would have been worse. That would have absolutely been worse.
Yeah, she was screaming in horror and agony, and that I'm with, and this is wildly cheerful, a ringtone for our occasion, and the bicycle kick was gnarly.
Yes, oh my god, we have complained about her stupid pelican kicks.
Ostrich kick.
Her ostrich,
No,
her ostrich kick.
That's not what this was.
This was a brogue. This was a brogue kick of death.
Yes. I showed speed. Woke up in a cold sweat. From looking at this.
But then she's trying to escape. For her, she's like, I have to get out of here. I need to run. I've been had. And then Jade Cargill's like, you ever hear the sad story of Queen Marie Antoinette? She was killed by a guillotine, like you're about to be. And she slammed the door on her, and Naomi was twitching like she was kind of twitching like she was about to start seizing, and it was great.
And, you know, Bianca is, like, unconsolable, and Liv's sitting there like, told you, bitch. I don't know why you want from me.
Boy, like,
I have to say, Liv being so snarky, I'm like, okay. This is a side of Liv Morgan. The Liv Morgan of every year except last year to this year was absolutely insufferable.
Yeah.
I'm starting to enjoy Liv Morgan, not her wrestling really, but Liv Morgan, the personality, I'm really starting to enjoy. She's putting it together.
She's like, instead of being just generally insufferable, she's really good at being an insufferable heel. Which there is a difference. But yeah, the first like couple minutes of this with the whole Jade reveal was absolutely tremendous, and I loved it. And the crowd, like on the whole, the crowd was into everything on this show, and they made this so much better.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, and I will have to admit that they probably felt the way I felt to some degree. The whole Jade Cargill angle at the beginning of this got me way more invested into this women's chamber match than I was heading into it.
Dude, it got me
Because
way more.
it took the worst worker out of it.
Yes, that's true. That is also true.
Stop saying facts.
It also meant that this match, by extension, was going to be shorter because that meant one less waiting period was going to come out. Because then they have Bianca Belair come out next, who is in an emotional state, and Liv Morgan could take advantage of that.
Yeah, but like,
well, I mean, this whole angle kind of was the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it locked you in for this match, dude. That had me locked in for the rest of the show.
Oh, me too. Me too. That got me right.
There was so much like good angle shit on this show.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had this pesky match in between. And for all the stuff that I just said about Liv Morgan, she cannot hit the ropes for shit.
There's a lot
Every time I see her hit the rope, she has to she's almost jumping up so her arm can get to the top rope. It's like, no, just do the Rey Mysterio thing. It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, there is a whole middle rope, Liv.
I know, and it slows the momentum down all the time. That being said, her strikes are much cleaner than they used to be.
That is getting better. And like whenever she does like a code breaker or a backstabber, the connection is better. Like her moves, I wouldn't say they're getting more crisp, but it looks like they're actually landing. Whereas whereas previously it was neither crisp nor did it look like it did anything and they would have to sell anyway. So, baby steps.
Baby steps. And then Bianca sparked some life. I said at this point, this is fine. and please stop me if I'm glossing over too fast. Alexa comes in, and then she throws a tale of two punches. The first punch was so far away that Neil deGrasse Tyson talked down to somebody about it. And the second punch looked like it nearly broke a jaw.
Yeah, that first punch, there's a whiff, and then there's just not even in the same.
Space.
There's a different hemisphere. There's like opposite sides of the equator.
Yeah. Somewhere Maxine Dupree was enjoying that punch.
Jesus.
In any case, but speaking of smack, I love the smack talk Roxanne does to everybody.
Agreed.
She's already got personality that I enjoy. You know, just watching her yell at people while she's hitting strikes. Once again, Skyler, you are the one who saw this talent, but she's going to be big as far as women's wrestling is concerned in like 5 years. She's going to be one of the biggest names in it.
We joked that Liv Morgan is the current like Alexa Bliss. No, Roxanne Perez is the future Alexa Bliss, because she is that small but mean girl that's going to scream insults and make her shit look good, despite the fact that she's not that big.
She was very good as a babyface in NXT. Her heel turn is just like, some people take forever to find their groove, like Liv Morgan took forever to find something that clicked with her. You know?
Yeah, she had to beat Ronda Rousey 3 times in a row with a wiffle ball bat.
Who knew? Who knew? Skyler called Roxanne being great. I called, maybe if Liv acted more like a whore, she would be more acceptable, lo and behold. But some people find their thing quickly, and they catch it early on, and they run with it. Roxanne found her groove early in NXT with that heel turn, and I agree, she's going to be great.
And the insane thing to me was that when I originally spotted her in NXT, it was when she was in the middle of her babyface run. Like, she reminds me of Bayley when she was a babyface. And like, you can do something with this girl as a babyface star. I did not see this heel stuff. Again, it's also reminiscent of when Bayley first turned heel on the main roster and how good her run was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and really, there was a time when Bayley was one of the most interesting things on WWE programming, particularly during the pandemic. She carried a lot.
Specifically the women's division.
Yeah, and I'm just waiting for the day, and it may not be for a couple of years, that Rhea Ripley gives Roxanne Perez a pep talk about ever since she was a little girl.
I was thinking about the same exact thing, Sean. I don't
think that's gonna happen.
You don't know that.
Yeah, and then Paul Heyman could walk in, like, ever since I was a little girl.
Okay, now we're getting way too far.
Kurt Angle's gonna angle slam Pat McAfee through the table.
Ever since I had a broken freaking neck.
That wasn't gonna happen.
Shotzi's gonna come in with a tank.
And then Piper Niven is gonna beat up JR on AEW.
and stab Meechin with a table.
We're talking about this is all of our history. ACPW versus NWL. It was our fantasy book show from 2020 through 2023. I think is when we stopped that, but. It was a hell of a time, and there's a lot of content. And you want to see where most of the wrestling angles you like over the past 5 years have come from? Look no further.
Honestly,
CPW and NWL.
Tell him where he's telling lies.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the match. Bayley dumps Roxanne, but then Bayley gets an Oblivion 1, 2, 3. And it actually went fairly smoothly, so I begrudgingly accept the fact that Liv pinned Bayley.
It'll be okay, Sean.
I'm not gonna lie, this kind of Bayley needs to go away for a year. Honestly.
I understand where you're coming from with that. She needs something else.
She needs to put over Roxanne and then go away. For a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe that's one of the matches at Mania. It's just Bayley is cold. And again, this is someone who likes Bayley and thinks she's one of the best women's wrestlers. This woman needs to freshen up. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that is, but something needs to change.
She's been role model for a tad too long with no, like, the last major adjustment was the babyface turn against Damage Control on the same episode where The Rock tried to fuck Cody Rhodes. Which, honestly, in retrospect, I feel like The Rock trying to steal Cody Rhodes' match on the same night that Bayley turned babyface kind of, in a way, dampened that a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, The Rock taking over somebody else's push in the middle of the show. Jeez.
The Rock doing a bigger angle to overshadow another major angle on the night is pretty consistent with The Rock's tenure of late.
Including this show.
Including this show, but again, just to get back to Bayley, I like Bayley, but she is cold. And again, she's a stalwart of the division. She's done what she can to help keep the division around while things are going on. I appreciate Bayley for everything that she does. Please, please, please. Do something new.
Yeah. She needs a new finisher.
She's one of the few women of that era that hasn't really had a prolonged break. You know, except for, I think she had an ACL injury.
Yeah. That
she went through 1 year. But other than that...
Yeah, and she was gone for like 2021, 2022. It's been a couple of years. She could use another break.
Yeah, and, you know, Becky's taking time off. That was necessary. Charlotte can take some time off.
And not come back.
Off if she wants. Mercedes, I'm happy to say, is no longer around or doing anything anywhere near this place. And Bayley, I would like to see just with something new. She's kind of in the same place that I view Damian Priest in, where what she did ran its course, and now they don't know what to do. So she's just there. And I think that she's still got more to contribute in a meaningful way to WWE. I don't think that her time is coming at just yet. Then Belair does a crossbody up the top of the cell, and we get this hair whip onto Liv Morgan.
You mean I did not. I saw a hair whip. I did not hear a hair whip. I heard a shotgun going off.
Yeah, it was pretty intense, and I have to imagine that was just where they had like the glass so they could actually really maximize the impact of the sound of that. But I'm pretty sure it broke the sound barrier.
Also, I'm pretty sure Liv Morgan Did not have to sell that. That was not selling. That was actual ow, ow, ow. That really hurt my ribs.
Yeah. Yeah,
There are a few different bumps that if I had to take as a wrestler, I'd be like, okay, that's my bump. I'm done for the night.
Yeah.
And taking a hair whip from Bianca is one of those.
Dude, you showed us in our group chat, Skyler, a picture of Liv Morgan after the chamber. Yikes. She got roughed up. She got roughed up.
Yeah, she did. Well, and
there's no question she loves it. Like, that's how you know you have a wrestler. When someone does those things and they still like it, even if they are in bruised to pain.
I mean, she smiled passing out to Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
So, this is
every time, Sean. Every time you're looking back to the Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan feud.
Well, it was just so transformative to... And actually, that feud was kind of an indicator of, like, Triple H is going to pick his favorites, in my eyes. You know, Ronda Rousey was the big MMA guy. That's a Vince person. Nah, you're gonna lose to Liv Morgan 3 times. This is, you know, no wonder Ronda Rousey lost her passion. I'm not a fan of Ronda's at all, but like, you lose to Liv Morgan 3 times. No wonder you lose your passion.
To be fair, in her book, which I don't know if you've either read the book or not, I don't think you should. But in her book, Ronda did say that she does like working with Liv Morgan. And that if she was going to lose anybody, it would be her because of her personality.
Liv had one. Liv had one back in the day. I mean, she found it recently, but still.
No, but Liv Morgan's real life personality. Shut the fuck up, Joshua.
Yeah.
No, her real life personality is what she's actually delving into, which is her being an e-thought. I'm not going to get off this perch.
To be fair, though, JoshAgeddon, that feud was kind of like the start of that. The start of her being able to kind of awaken that in her. And then we got Ronda Rousey's greatest match of all time at SummerSlam. And what a contest that was.
I still haven't seen that.
But anyway, we get the Oblivion into the super kick counter, which ended with a Twisted Bliss, and Roxanne is out. And then we get Liv Morgan doing the 3 Amigos. And I will say this, I do not mind Edsturbation if it's getting booed because a heel is doing it. When every babyface on the show does it, that's when it's annoying.
Yeah.
So Ray Phoenix is going to come to WWE, and when he does it, you're going to groan?
I will.
Correct.
Unanimous.
Yes. But I am happy. Good for Ray Phoenix. I'm glad you escaped. No, I can't speak. I'm glad you escaped Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
As it's not easy to do, and I know that Harold and Kumar have done it once.
Oh my god! What a deep cut!
I'm gonna go take a smoke with George W. Bush.
Just Mike.
Dear God, that was the deepest of cuts. That was a laceration.
That's right. Well, thankfully, Bliss did not get lacerated on the weld on her gut. But anyway, roll up to pin Alexa Bliss could have been smoother, but I'm cool with it. But I did not see that Liv Morgan used Bianca's hair for leverage.
That was brilliant.
When they showed that on the replay, I'm like, oh, okay, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool idea.
Bianca Belair's hair is one of the best gimmicks in the women's division because it can be used for so many things, both with her and against her.
Yeah.
And I love how nobody has given a flying fuck that it's a work.
Yeah.
No, nobody. I mentioned that, and everybody got sad, and you know what changed? Nothing.
You mentioned but dude, I was at college. I was in college, and it was like one of my first appearances on your Court Martial podcast. It was snowing, and you told me that, and it ruined my day. I was like, bro, it's
hearing in your voice. I actually felt bad afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should have just kept that alive.
I was like, bro, it's snowing outside. Santa's still real.
Oh,
John
God.
Cena will never turn heel.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's what we all thought. But then we get this I love this spot with Liv again. using Bianca's hair as like a yo-yo to just bash her into the cell like 5 times.
Yeah, that was very unique.
It was clever. I love that they're still finding different things to do with Bianca's hair, though. Of all these years, like, you thought that those hair spots would be really stagnant, and they haven't been.
Well, she barely ever whips anybody now. I think it was one of us that said, as long as they don't overuse it, it'll be great. And lo and behold, they keep listening to our advice. Check in the mail, please.
That's right.
And every once in a while, she busts it out, or I guess whips it out. And it's great, and everybody loves it.
Well, hold on, Joshua. You better be careful about that phrase.
And I love I immediately followed up that phrase with, and everybody loves it.
Yep, that's right. Well, speaking of things that I loved, as Liv is starting to get up, I forget how they got into this, but Bianca goes up and she hits Liv Morgan with a hacksaw Jim Duggan shoulder tackle that was like, it had some stank in it.
Yes.
I was like, oh god,
and then we get to the part where I was when you showed us that picture, Skyler, I was like, how does she get all those bruises on her elbows? Well, you see, this spot where she had her in like a deadlift powerbomb position and was slinging her against the pod door and the chamber chain link over and over. I have a sneaking suspicion that that's where the bruises came from because my god.
That was probably it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But now, this is interesting to me because this kind of blurs the lines as to what Bianca's going to be. I'm imagining she's going to be a babyface, but with what happened with Naomi and Jade earlier, I don't really know who's going to be a heel in all this and what Bianca's going to actually do in this situation. And there's a lot of time between now and Mania to figure that out. So, it's intriguing to me that Bianca was this brutal to Liv Morgan. You know, because she was so emotionally charged. I think we're in for some very interesting weeks of Raw and SmackDown before WrestleMania comes along.
Oh, absolutely.
And I loved this finisher counter thing to end it, and then Bianca finally got the KOD, and that was that. And all I am asking, man of 3 H's, is to not make this a triple threat match.
Oh, Sean, I'm asking the man of 3 H's for the exact opposite. I want Io Sky to walk out as world champion.
I understand.
And leave Rhea Ripley off the card?
No, I want a triple threat match.
He's advocating for a triple threat match.
Well, we're about to find out because Raw is about. We're recording this on a Monday, and Raw starts in 4 minutes, so. One of us is gonna be real happy. One of us is gonna be real sad.
Well, I'm hoping that we just get Rhea and Bianca. No disrespect to Io Sky, I think she should be involved somehow. However, give me that match at WrestleMania. They've been teasing it for fucking ever.
I will be fine if we get Rhea and Bianca because that is a money match. That is a dream match. Suck a dick, Tony Khan. But if it was anyone else, I would want the one-on-one. But it's Io, and she's gaining. I wouldn't say she's like super over, but she's getting over. And what would help her? What would help her a lot would be winning at WrestleMania. But we'll see what they do.
I don't disagree with you, but she also just did win at WrestleMania last year.
No, Io lost at WrestleMania last year.
Didn't she? When did she win the belt? Oh, she lost it to Bayley because she was champion going into it. That's right. That's right. Well, the fact that we're even talking about Io in this WrestleMania goes to show how well she's done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think she has done a great job. And as did all the women in this whole shenanigan. It got kind of, you know, a match in the middle, but the beginning was wild, and the ending was solid, and the result was intriguing considering the whole dynamic of everything that took place. Well done, ladies. This was a fun chamber match.
I agree. This was the best women's chamber match they've ever done. Not the highest of bars, but still good.
Anything else on the chamber you got to add, Sky?
Well, here's the thing. Triple threat or not, I think Bianca definitely does deserve to go to Mania. I thought we were getting Bianca versus Jade Cargill. I thought that was the direction they were going to go.
If we get Jade just straight up murdering Naomi, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
You're going to say, did Joshua book this?
Yes. Hey, they booked an entire Rumble. They booked 2 entire Rumbles against me. So I deserve to book one thing at WrestleMania. Thank you very much.
And I will say this, it would be actually hysterically funny if after Tony Khan used Jade Cargill to squash 62 people over 3 years, that WWE puts Jade Cargill in a squash at WrestleMania that means more than any of those other matches combined.
Do it. Do it, Triple H.
I'm all for it.
Do
Anything
it.
To
He has no balls.
Tony Khan, I am all for it.
Dude, Triple H proved on this night he has titanium nuts.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
And then we get what's coming up. And here's my 2 complaints before I let you 2 talk about this match and then I get into my shtick.
Okay.
I asked for more tag matches on Premium Live. I recognize this is my fault because I'm the one who asked.
This isn't what I wanted.
But I'm literally like, give me this. They give it to me, and I'm like, no, not like that. And don't give no disrespect to 3 of the 4 competitors in this match.
I was okay. Before you continue,
I'm not gonna watch this match.
Before you continue, Sean. Before you continue, you remind me of that kid from SpongeBob. But I don't like pistachio. But then why did you ask for it?
Yeah. Well, thankfully I will not turn into a level 10 wizard here on this occasion. But we'll leave that to Chris Jericho. But anyway, 2 women's matches in a row is a little much for me, but it's a tag match, and I wanted to watch it, but I was so, like, we just had a women's chamber, and I had to pick my battles. Now, that's not to say this match wasn't on in the room I was in. Because it was. But when I say I literally spent the entire match writing down roasts about Candice LeRae and Nia Jax, that is literally what I did. I'm going to let you guys talk about the match first, and then I will come in later and swoop in with my bits.
Well, Sean, I regret to inform you that all that I watched of this match, I watched this show while I was delivering pizza, so I was half glancing at that and half glancing at the road, which is pretty dangerous. You probably shouldn't be doing that. When I went back and rewatched the show, like at my house, the replay, I also skipped this match because I do not give one iota of a shit about it. What I saw when I was driving and delivering pizza is what I saw. So, Skyler, your thoughts?
Okay. So, I have a confession I need to make.
Oh, no.
You didn't watch it either, did you?
I really tried hard to watch this, okay? I really tried hard, okay? Well, can I explain something real quickly? And I did watch this match. I could not tell you a single thing from it that I thought was good.
It's like when you read a book and you don't remember anything you read, so you have to go back a couple pages. Like, wait, what happened?
I know. Continue, Sky.
So here's the thing. It must have been really, really cool for Tiffany Stratton to team with Trish Stratus. That's basically, you're able to team up with founders of your business. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, in Trish's hometown, though.
The whole time I was thinking to myself, this is, to be honest, who should have been training with Trish Stratus and not Zoe Stark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if anybody should have been Trish Stratus's protege, it should have been somebody who had a gymnastics/fitness background, and Tiffany Stratton could have done that, and also do the bitchy mean girl bits.
Holy shit. You know what? They have the opportunity to do the funniest thing?
Oh, no.
If at WrestleMania, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus and Charlotte all do the Spider-Man meme. They could do WrestleMania No Way Home.
And bring back Poppy's theme song, New Way Out, just to make it the perfect circle.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Going past that, I also must say, it is really, really cool for Trish Stratus to be able to still go in the ring the way she has. She's an older woman, and she's an older wrestler. She's still better than almost half of the division, as evidenced by this match, okay?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. From what I saw of it, you're not wrong.
Trish Stratus could easily still be the women's world champion or the women's mid-card champion if she so chooses, right?
Agreed.
But is that not an indictment on the lower half of the division that none of them can reach the level of a 46-year-old Trish Stratus?
Yeah. This thing...
I mean, Chris Jericho at 46 was not at the level of 46-year-old Trish Stratus.
Also true.
That's just because I like shitting on Chris Jericho. But
I mean, we all do.
Okay. We'll do that at a later day, later time. The point, though, I have to say is that given what this match was and given what it was going for, Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton did the best that they could. Nia Jax is what Nia Jax is at this point. Like, you know what you're going to get when you get a Nia Jax match. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be entertaining. There may be a horrific botch somewhere in the middle, but it is what it is, right?
I mean, she does make me laugh sometimes, taunting the way that she does. Like when she was doing Trish Stratus's like finger up, and you're like, oh, like sometimes Nia's personality makes me guffaw.
Yeah, but here's the thing: this whole match, I thought, okay, Candice LeRae is taking the pin, and instead they have Tiffany Stratton take the pin on Nia Jax. I'm just like, okay, so this feud is over.
You're not hearing a complaint from me.
When that happened, I was thinking, why couldn't this have just been Tiffany versus Nia for the women's title, one-on-one, with Trish in Tiffany's corner, and Candice, I don't really give a shit what she was doing. But, why couldn't this have just been a one-on-one match for the title?
Because Trish was wrestling in front of her kids for the first time. I think that was like the whole point of it.
The theme of the show was...
Exactly. As for Trish Stratus to wrestle at home in Toronto, they could have made the belt on the line if they really wanted to.
But, Sean, the theme of the show was fuck them kids.
I know, but not Trish's kids. Not hometown kids. Not Trish's kids.
No, not the Canadian kids, just the rest of them.
What an amazing way to put it.
The Canadian kids are okay. It's the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
You don't hear about John Cena granting a whole lot of wishes in Canada, did you? Just saying.
Because they keep apologizing to him. He's like, you didn't do anything, though. I'm sick. I'm sorry.
Oh,
but
man.
no,
was
this match
dark.
was a nothing match. It totally did not fit the rest of the show because, as I said, everybody was out to get a pound of flesh, whether it's Jade Cargill beating the ever-loving shit out of Naomi, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, the main event, and then the angle afterwards. This totally did not match. I don't know if there's anything that you could have done to make it totally match other than maybe making it like a no disqualification, but then at that point, that's over gimmicking, especially because you have 2 gimmick matches on the show already. Actually, 3 gimmick matches on the show.
Yeah, I think this match just had to be there to fill up the dead spot, which is what they're going to use tag matches for. Because they're going to go, okay, Sean, you want tag matches? Fine. We're going to make sure not a single fan gives a fuck about when they go on the show. And
now here's the thing, is that if Rey Fenix comes in and him and Penta do their tag team stuff, can they make tag team wrestling matter?
Not by themselves.
The Machine Guns didn't do as much as I thought they would. And I arguably would say that they have more to offer WWE than Penta and Phoenix.
I would argue that the Machine Guns are more guys who can have the good match with the draw. They are not the draw themselves.
I think that's a fair point. I think that's
And the thing is that Penta and Phoenix, they're the draw along with being the workers. They're just not as clean.
They just need to be workers.
Exactly. They're the exciting, entertaining tag team that this division does not have that they could really use.
Agreed. And them just having a few matches that we can remember will be enough for them to win a Grapply. So, balls in your court, Penta and Ray. there's a Grapply awaiting. And would you like to hear my thoughts about this match?
Yes, tell us every joke you have about Candice LeRae.
Okay, well, the first thing I wrote down, I put Nia and Candice versus Trish and Stratton. The first thing I wrote down was no.
N-O.
N-O,
No.
period.
No.
Then, space. I should have drawn the Rage comic, actually, but...
Well, that's for the next match.
Any case, before I go any further, I didn't come up with a bit for this, but I would just like to reiterate it. Alicia Taylor sucks.
Yeah.
And I mean, so she's mispronouncing people's names. She's like all the bad habits of Greg the Hamwich Hamilton, but she also stuck her finger into an electric socket, so her hair's all messed up.
She's going Super Saiyan 4.
She is trying way, way, way too hard to be the woman that she replaced.
Yeah.
Yes. I miss Ball Crusher Sam Irvin.
And imagine if you had told Sean that 2 years ago that the current ring announcer would make you miss Sam Irvin.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Irvin earned my respect a great deal at WrestleMania, and then from that whole rest of the year on that she was there, she won me over. At first, she was insufferable, but she won me over.
I miss when ring announcers were aware that they were ring announcers, not stars of the show.
Yeah.
That's what I miss.
Well, speaking of people who are not stars, the one that you two both already know that I've already that I revealed in chat, Candice LeRae is a McDonald's Happy Meal toy come to life.
About as tall as one too.
This is another one that I sent to you. Candice looks like if Dollface fucked a parrot. Nia looks like if Black Rain fucked a pregnant zebra. If you recall the outfit she wore on that night.
Dear God.
Candice looks like she routinely asks to see the manager and her hairstylist. Here's one for you mythology fans out there. Nia looks like if Circe quit singing halfway.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
Wow.
That's one for you mythology kids out there.
Jeez.
Boy, what an odyssey this has been. And then last, but certainly not least, Candice LeRae looks like a dominatrix for Oompa Loompas. And then Tiffany Stratton pins Nia with a great PME that looks absolutely beautiful. I can't wait for hers to look good and Charlotte's to miss. And that is my 10 minutes here at the Laugh Factory. And that's about all I have to say about those ladies. And I kept it classy at least.
Somewhat. For three of them you did. Actually, not even
too vulgar, But in any case, but there was no filleting in those jokes, unlike the hype package of this whole thing with The Rock.
Oh Lord!
And God, the amount of Johnson ejaculation on this show is enough to make any man's stomach turn. And it's not even next.
It was at this point.
It was talked about throughout. They kept talking about the segment. The video that Sean is talking about is coming up, but in betweens, they kept talking about Cody Rhodes and his decision with The Rock and all this shit. I'm just like, God damn it. This is a show that I noticed Pat McAfee and Michael Cole were not good, both of them. But especially Pat.
Well,
I know it's not them. I know it's what The Rock is telling them to say, but I hated every second of it.
I felt like that was most presently the case in this upcoming match. And, you know, it was at this point when we were all like, oh yeah, The Rock is 100% stealing this main event.
Yeah.
Little did we know we would all be okay with that.
Yeah.
Come the end of the night. Next up, we get the unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And
I have the sneaking suspicion.
I am going to be a grumpy old man for most of this, so I'm going to pass it off first to people who may feel and view it softer than I did. Let's start with Josh again. What do you have to say about this?
I have a feeling that we're going to have some disagreements here on this particular matchup.
Slam that car door in disgust is what I'm going to do.
They should have done that during this unsanctioned match. Maybe they would have actually given us what they were selling to us.
Well, that's how Michael Corleone's leg was broken, but that's cross-pollinating a little too much.
A little bit. I thought this was good, but I have some problems with it. I didn't become enraged by anything. Stares directly across the table here. But there were some things that I was like, come on, really? About this match. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Skyler?
So, here's the thing. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens had a better version of this match at the Rumble.
True. That is true.
Agreed.
And that's what hindered this match. And it's because we've seen Sami and Kevin battle each other so many times. And they've done so much more.
Yeah.
Well, how much else could they have done?
They sold that they were going to try to commit homicide in the middle of the ring. And there were a couple times where I was like, ooh, that was nasty. But it never really got to that. It never got anywhere near to the guys, calm down, as Cody and Kevin at the Rumble.
Yeah, it didn't build to the fever pitch I think everyone was expecting.
Which, I honestly, before the show even started, I was thinking that, like, whenever, like, I would watch SmackDown or Raw and they would be building to that unsanctioned match and they were talking about how much this was going to be an atrocity, an affront to humankind, I was thinking, this is just going to be, like, your standard no DQ match, isn't it? And then it was. And I was like, yeah, I kind of called it.
But it's Owens and Zayn, so that means they have to do like 16 more spots than they have to, and it goes just past where it would have been perfect.
This is my thought on this match. This was good, but CM Punk and Drew McIntyre Hell in a Cell did this exact thing better.
No, that's my thing, is that Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens had the better version of this match at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say I loved the lighting. The lighting was great. You know, the fact that that referee last name had on pants.
Rob Zapata.
That's his name. Thank you for having names.
The only reason why I know this referee is because I hate this referee. This is the most annoying referee in WWE. He always screams. He's the one who was like, during the Seth Rollins Fiend Hell in a Cell match, he was like, "This isn't you, Seth! This isn't you!" And I'm like, are you his fucking therapist? That's this guy, and I'm not a fan of his.
I'll tell you what he is. He's a giant cock tease. He doesn't wear gloves.
Yes.
As if this was going to be a bloodbath.
Yes.
And then there was no blood and there was no bath.
Yeah, that was another problem I had with this match. Well, given how the show ended, I get it, but at the same time...
Me too.
At the same time, if you promise us death, destruction, carnage, and the passion of both of these guys being flogged by the Cat of Nine Tails, then you better deliver. They somewhat 25% delivered, and I'm like, where's the other 75?
Yeah, it's being batted around like a hockey puck, which they had because there was a hockey stick that was used.
I hated that. This is a blood feud. We don't need to... Oh, we're in Canada, and we're both Canadian. You're supposed to be... You were at each other's houses.
I will have to say this, too. This is a big problem I have. Any no disqualification match they do in Toronto, they do this bullshit.
Yes.
They did this when the Judgment Day were trying to win the belts. and then they spilled onto the outside, and then remember they wore the Maple Leafs gear, and they started, you know, they were thrown over.
No, Sean, that was in Pittsburgh, and they wore the Pittsburgh Penguins jerseys.
Were they Penguins jerseys? Well, then...
Yes, because it was Yager and Crosby.
Oh, that's right. Well, my point is, that's north enough for me to continue having this tirade.
It's because of the fact that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are Canadian.
Well, but Edge and Christian did this too, and they did a poor man's version of this. And
Jesus, not wrong.
They did.
You're not
Remember,
wrong.
they took 2 minutes to put jerseys on, and then hockey fought.
Yes. Oh,
it was
God.
so dumb. It was so stupid. But then we get to where Michael. Well, first of all, then we get Owens with the stick, and then he's just trying to bite Sammy's nose off like he's Haku.
But I mean, that was actually one of the things that kind of got me into the match.
Yeah, me too.
That sucked me in, and then Michael Cole, Mr. Weedy Shire, Michael Cole. His old habits got the better of him here, because I guess you can't say choke. As Kevin Owens is choking Sami Zayn with, I think, a shirt or a cable, or I don't remember what the specific item was used, as they're heading into the crowd, and Michael Cole says Kevin Owens is actively trying to take Sami Zayn's breath away. Like he's singing Celine Dion to him. I'm sorry. Cole, just say choke. You're going to say go fuck yourself later on in this night.
Yes, and someone's actually going to get choked, so...
Yeah.
Yes, but that's the years of trauma of Vince McMahon telling him everything that he has to say.
I know. He probably did have a trauma flashback and panicked. I'm sure
He saw what Daniel Bryan did to Justin Roberts. He doesn't want to be in that too.
That's right. 100%. I'm sure you're right. I am almost positive you're right, Sky. It was just so funny how he just stuttered and then came up with that.
He took his breath away. He sure did, Michael Cole.
He gave his breath away.
Yes. That sounds like a goddamn romance novel line.
Yeah, like he's about to take him to Oppenheimer in IMAX or something. But then it got worse, because then Sami Zayn backdrops Kevin Owens onto a table, and Michael Cole goes, a variation of the Blue Thunder Bomb. No, Cole.
No. It was a back suplex.
It was a back suplex. There was no blue, there was no thunder, there was no bomb. Get the hell out of here with that.
And then they
I don't know if you know this, Michael Cole, but Sami Zayn actually wins matches with that move now, so shut up.
Not on this night. Not on this night.
Not on this night. But the one he did...
Okay, he beats jobbers with it.
Yeah, yes. The Miz is a jobber, yes.
Yes, but at this point, yeah. And then they get back into the ring, and I go, this could use some juice.
Yep.
And then they didn't get it to us.
Nope.
Then we get the top rope push into Sami Zayn into the table tower. And
I actually really liked that, because it was a bit of a reference to Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose back at the 2016 Royal Rumble in their Last Man Standing match, where that was actually the finish. So I like that little homage.
It just wasn't the finish.
Yeah.
As we had another 10 or 15 more minutes to go on this debacle.
15 minutes of, are they going to bleed or not? I'm waiting.
Well, the fisherman brainbuster on the chair didn't do it.
That was brutal.
The half and half on the broken chair didn't do it.
That was also brutal. That was grotesque. At this point, I was locked into this match, and then it kept going.
I was too. They kind of distanced me with already going through 4 tables at this point, but they brought me back in, and then they ruined it for me. And this is for only, I put a major disclaimer on this, is for my sensibilities. Here's my problem with this. This is an unsanctioned match, right? So the whole idea, as Alicia Taylor mealy-mouthed tried to describe, was that WWE, similarly to CIW and Skyler's on commentary, that the views and whatever happened to this match do not reflect the views and political affiliations of CIW or its affiliates. They, wipe your hands clean, right? The idea that they're not getting involved.
Oh, that sounds like something a Pinko Kami would say.
That's right. It sure is. Exactly my point, Skyler. Exactly my point. So then they do this ref bump, and I'm not saying that the ref bump and then other referees getting hurt isn't a good spot in theory. But if this is an unsanctioned match, why are sanctioned referees coming to replace to make it count? Wouldn't it make more sense that the referee just has to get up, and if you lose the ref, you lose the ref? Unless you're putting him on a gurney, he's going to stay there. And if you bring sanctioned referees in, then you basically are now adding responsibility in a legal sense to the WWE for being a part of that match. I'm nitpicking. I'm 100% nitpicking.
I can kind of see where you're coming at with that. My thing is, like, let's kayfabe this for a second. If this is unsanctioned and the referee goes down and that's the only referee they have, who's going to stop the match? The match will just keep going until either the referee goes up or the heat death of the universe occurs. Which nearly did at the end of the show.
Kevin Owens, they would continue until the heat death of the universe.
You're not wrong.
They had plenty of officials to stop the match or pull them apart when Randy Orton was about to punt Kevin in the head. I'm getting ahead of myself. They had plenty of officials who could have come down there and then finally said, okay, enough. Or cops. Or something. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, which then would imply don't do the ref bump spot in an unsanctioned match. That's kind of where I'm going with that. It just didn't fit for me.
It fit for me, but I will say one thing that absolutely made it worth it for me. While again, I see your complaint and I'm putting it here in my filing cabinet of I don't agree with this, but cool. Charles Robinson was a superstar in this match.
Yeah, they sent him down to die.
No. First, this man reversed the hands of time to WrestleMania 24. Bro was hauling ass. He was sprinting to the ring. And then he counts 2 off of a stunner, and Kevin Owens obliterates him with a clothesline, and I'm like, oh my god, Charles Robinson is dead. I laughed my ass off at this clothesline. He killed this man. Charles Robinson was amazing. This is where
the match peaked for me.
Yeah, I love Charles Robinson.
God bless Charles Robinson. You want to talk about holding back the hands of time? That dude does not age.
No, he does not. Nor does he slow down.
Good for his age.
How old is he at this point?
Bro saw Sonic 3 and was like, bet. And just hauled ass to the ring as fast as he could.
He was in his 50s. I don't know about now, or at least maybe
he's actually 60 years old.
Oh my God.
And he took that clothesline. That's elder abuse.
God, I never realized Charles Robinson's the same age as Booker T. That's wild. That's wild. This poor man. And then I mean that was a hell of a shot. I wasn't saying. I mean, I was also writing my bitching while that was happening, but it was still pretty insane. Then we get the Fisherman Buster through table number 5. Then we get a haluva kick. The referees come in to try to stop it, but that seemed to me like when all the officials come in, that them getting involved means that they're not as absolved of responsibility as they say they are.
I took it as they're just trying to get people in there so they can end this as quick as possible, but this is also the part where the match started to lose me a little bit, because honestly, the match peaked with the suplexes on the chairs, the dive on the outside through 2 tables, and the ref bumps, and then they went for 6 more minutes when they should have only gone for 2.
The whole thing with this match was that Sami Zayn has a bad neck. And he keeps getting up after these things that should be paralyzing him.
Also that.
And but the
whole reason why they have an unsanctioned match was because he could not be medically cleared, so they decided to make it unsanctioned so the company can't be responsible. And then when he's having these possibility of paralyzation, in comes referees to try and stop it.
Yeah, except them sitting there and watching Kevin Owens continually brutalize Sami Zayn for 6 more minutes just made them all look completely useless until, of all people, a potential punt. That was the qualifier. That was where the line was drawn. That bothered me.
But
not the barbed wire chair, not all the crazy power bombs on the apron, none of that. Not pulling the padding off of the floor to the concrete to set up that. They couldn't stop and push Kevin Owens and restrain him or any of that then. But Randy Orton thinking about kicking somebody in the head is too far. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. That is actually ridiculous. I know I jumped a lot here, but like that's the major point that really pissed me off. That's where I had to go and like just take a hit and do a lap, because it's like that makes all of these officials look like gigantic pussies, and it reveals to everybody that they're only getting involved when they're told to get involved. So when they're out there, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, rewinding the hands of time real quick.
Let's rewind that, and now let's continue with, where were we at? The barbed wire chair, basically?
Yes. This was the part where I was like, Sean and Skyler are groaning, and I'm once again locked into this match, because I like barbed wire.
But no blood.
That was my problem. I was like, well, they've totally got to do blood now. And then Kevin Owens gets a drop toe hold face first into the chair, Raven style, and he's screaming and writhing around in agony, and there's no blood, and I'm like, where's the blood? And it just didn't happen, and I was like, all right, then don't do the barbed wire chair then. If you're gonna... Don't tease me like that. If you're gonna pull out the barbed wire chair, somebody's gotta start bleeding. Unless it's Jon Moxley, Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32, where he pulled out a barbed wire bat and never used it. Just the threat of it was supposed to be, enough. And then the Blue Thunder Bomb on the barbed wire was pretty insane. That was like one of my favorite spots of the match. And that got a little...
That
of
not
course
winning kind of ruined it. I'm like, okay, you've lost me. But fun facts at this moment is proceeding. Barbed wire chair abbreviated is BWC, which is what I have. Continue.
I don't know how to respond to that, but we're going to gloss over that.
I can't respond to that because that's the initials of my workplace.
But anyway, so where this match really lost me is... We get to the finish, and he powerbombs Sami Zayn on the apron, and I'm like, okay, they're referencing their first betrayal feud saga from NXT. That's cool. And then they try to do it again, except they screw it up. So then they do it again. And I'm like, why couldn't just one be enough? And... Then he gets,
including the chair to the neck spot.
Yes, that they
CM Punk Jeff Hardy spot, which they also did twice.
Yes, which you only needed to do that once. Do it once, then one apron powerbomb, and then that's it. But no, they had to double up on everything because it's Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And anyway, listen, look. If he threw him into the ring post with the chair around his head once, and then apron powerbombed him, threw him in the ring, and pinned him, that would have been a decent finish, and the crowd would have been into it. But the fact that I did it twice and drag it out, gave him another powerbomb, and then he rolls him in the ring and then covers him, there was no pop for the finish. Other than, it's over. Because they dragged it out too long.
Michael Cole said it really well. In between him saying, "You sick bastard," and I'm like, shut up, Cole. Just shut up. But one of the things he said, which I completely agreed with, was, Kevin, none of this is worth it. I agree.
I would have said even better, none of this is necessary.
Yeah. But I did call that this was what they were going to do in this match. They were going to go too far, do too many of the same shit, and it was going to end up not being as good as it could have been because they don't know how to restrain themselves when those two are together.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
They're bad influences on each other.
Yeah.
And
this was nowhere near close to the best match they've ever had against each other. Like their match at Battleground in 2016 was better. Their match at Payback in 2016 was better. Their matches in NXT were better. This might have been better than their matches during the pandemic era. But
it could have been way worse, I will admit.
Yeah.
But I found myself being kind of disappointed at I was raging at that point, but I'm now just kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
The potential for what this could have been was kind of lost in these two guys' old habits.
Yeah, this should have been half as long and more bloody, but I understand why. Again, they withheld the blood because of the main event segment. But still, if you're gonna have,
then they should have booked this match at Mania,
or just have them have. I mean, this is a blood feud. Just have them have a regular match that ends via ref stoppage. They already did that in NXT, but I don't know. They kind of booked themselves into a corner with this.
I don't know how you do this without juice. That's the thing. It's like you needed blood for this.
Yeah.
I think I would not have minded the entire 2/3 of the match following if they had just gotten double juice at some point in this whole thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded at all the rest of this, but not having that was a key aesthetic that was lost.
Yeah.
And the angle afterwards was great, mostly great, except for the gripe that I just said about all the officials only stopping the punt. But once again, Randy Orton's return is not the most important thing on the show.
You gotta pop, though.
He gotta pop then, too. But Kevin goes to pull the pads off, and the referees are like, "Oh no, please stop. You're gonna hurt him." Like, that whole match didn't even happen. Randy Orton comes back.
It's okay, Sean. We'll get through this together.
Stroke notwithstanding.
Jeff Jarrett.
But I do have to say, slap these nuts.
Kick my balls and turn heel.
We had a PWC out earlier.
Bianca Belair whipped it out earlier, and she whipped it out hard and long, and Liv Morgan has bruises now.
I love the fact that while these two are staring each other down, Kevin Owens looked like a broken toddler. The guy Keto hasn't gotten what he's wanted. He's just so broken psychologically. You could just see the hurt in Kevin Owens' eyes looking at Randy.
Yeah.
Because he loved Randy. You know, he even said he loved Randy, and it was just Kevin Owens did a really good job of looking emotionally raw in this moment.
And it was also like, I already took care of you, and now you're back, so now I gotta do more.
And then Orton hits him with an RKO, and then he attempts the punt. And at this point, I am jumping up and down in my chair. If they had punted Kevin Owens here, and I know they're saving it for Mania, I know.
They should have had Kevin Owens roll out of the way and run.
Well, it's the officials coming in. Kevin rolling out of the way is fine. But the officials coming in to break this up after they just watched at ringside 8 minutes of Kevin Owens completely destroying Sami Zayn's essence. It sent mixed messages. Like, Sonya Deville did more as a WWE official than these people did.
That's why she's not here anymore.
Exactly.
There's many reasons why she's not here anymore, but yeah, that's one of them.
But that was my thing. That just got me going, because I'm like, ironically enough, I opened up this podcast with I don't get paid for continuity, but WWE does. So I just would like to see a little bit more when it comes to what the officials can and cannot do, and when they do and do not get involved, other than we'll tell you when to stop something. That's all. But other than that, the match was
A disappointment.
Yeah.
It was disappointment.
It was disappointing.
I liked it the most than the three of us. That was not the correct way to say that sentence. I liked it the most out of the three of us. There we go. BA in English. But even I thought it was disappointing. Should have been half as long. Should have had juice.
But you know what's funny about this? When you look at the show as a whole, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, because of what we got next.
It genuinely doesn't matter that this match was disappointing. That's how wild this show was. But before we move on, there is a moment that happened after they do a couple pieces of commercials, and they come back to the commentary table, and Michael Cole, acting all concerned, goes, "Folks, we'll give you an update on on Sami Zayn's condition, and Pat McAfee in the most soulless ways, like, "Yep, Godspeed." And it's like
Thanks,
Sami's
Pat.
traveling around the world in a hot air balloon, and he's going, "Oh, good luck, buddy. Hope it all works out for you." You know, it's like there was no concern at all at that table.
Should have just said, "See you on the other side, Sammy."
Yeah, instead he's like, "Godspeed," is it like, "All right, have, safe travels, call us when you get to Cabo," and I don't know.
There was another comment.
It was just so like counterintuitive to what the moment was supposed to be.
There was another commentary moment with Pat during the match that made me laugh. It was while Kevin was murdering Sammy, and Pat was like, "Well, he's gonna be feeling that for the next couple weeks," and they were like, "He's gonna be feeling it for the rest of his life, Pat. He's gonna be feeling it forever, Pat." And Pat's like, "Oh yeah, right. He's gonna be feeling it for." They're right. You're correct. Like you could hear them kicking him under the table.
Dude, Pat was high as fuck this week. Like, he had, probably 4 more gummies than he normally does. That's the only explanation I have. Because I've done this to our podcasts. So
and our commentaries on our own shows.
I recognize this quite a lot. So, that's what I'm guessing. He had one too many vitamins before that, one too many vitamins eaten, one too many prayers said.
Stop reading my mind. I was about to say something about prayers. Yeah. Where's his brother? Does Pat McAfee have any siblings?
I'm actually not sure about that. But
Rick McAfee, Pat and Rick McAfee. I'm sorry, that made me laugh and only me, but anyway, move on.
Listen, Pat's name is not Rick, okay?
Exactly.
And that happened in a wrestling ring, mind you. So
yes, it's all connected.
Even though it was on top of a sesame seed bun, it is still a wrestling ring.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys do these really stupid SpongeBob jokes.
Well, let's move on. We got more serious things to talk about because we're at our main event match of the night.
Indeed.
Not the main event angle. And I gotta tell you, this vignette that they did with the 7 deadly sins was one of the best hype packages I've seen from them. And they're really damn good with their hype packages.
Yes,
I loved the way that they framed this.
This was amazing.
And how ironic it is that John Cena was pride when the proverb is pride cometh before a fall.
Another nice little hint.
I love just the synergy that they've got going with this show. And it was just a great hype package. Logan Paul comes out with the American flag as heat, and that's how I knew that the national anthem was intentional.
When he did that, I busted out laughing. I was like, I love Logan Paul.
That's how I knew.
Yeah.
That was definitely on purpose. They're leaning into it. But stop changing themes for people.
Yeah,
His original theme was fine.
Yeah, I actually really liked his original theme. And then they changed it to whatever that is. Deaf Rebel. Yeah. I want to rebel because you make me deaf.
Yeah, it was pretty awful.
Yeah.
It was pretty awful. All fries for the Judgment Day. You know what? They should re-gimmick Damian Priest as the Burger King. All fries.
No, Cher's got that gimmick already. We don't need it again.
Burger after burger after burger.
You know what? Damian Priest and Sheamus as a tag team. 2 guys, burgers, and fries.
Okay, that's a pun too far.
Book it.
This is so goddamn.
Oh man. And I don't know which female manager will be the dill pickle on the side, but that will be left to be found.
Oh, Sean, you slay me. That was
speaking
gold.
of burgers and fries, they credited Chris Jericho for inventing the Elimination Chamber.
I love how our bits just continuously feed into the next bit.
They do.
Oh, God.
And Jericho's bites feed into his next bites.
Sean, enough. You're torturing me at this point.
Okay, just stop. Just stop. Okay, that's it. I'm tapping out. I'm done.
And we haven't even
This podcast is so terrible. I'm tapping out, Joshua.
Oh, Lord.
Man. Well, Drew and Seth start, and I will have to say they had.
No. You are not doing this. You are not doing this justice, Sean. On this edition of What the Fuck is Seth Rollins Wearing?
He was SpongeBob at the end of the movie.
Because he had this fluffy, like, vest, a fluffy shirt with a big old, whole junk in the front that he was doing at first. And both Skyler and myself were like, well, that's kind of toned down. He had an alternate skin, little did we know. And, dear God.
Believe it or not,
a couple of weeks ago, he looked like a vampire hunter. Today, he looked like a wizard that was the vampire that he was trying to kill.
it was even worse on SmackDown this past Friday. He was wearing what looked like a normal like red jacket and red pants. The problem is it looked like someone like put a helium tank in there and blew everything up. And that's when CM Punk
called it best. He looks like he cut out the holes on an oven mitt and decided to wear it.
He looked like an oven mitt. It was so weird. Seth.
This is amazing how this gimmick has been a thing of ours for a couple of years to the point where now it's canon.
He won't stop doing it!
They've leaned into it so hard with him, and I don't mind anymore. I genuinely don't care anymore.
It's like a game at this point. What could he walk out in next?
Well, it's not only that, but also because like a lot of the angles that he does on television, he's just being serious. Right? So if he wants to be ridiculous on a PLE, fine. It's like
For the entrance,
right? I don't mind the fact that he looks like Bret Hart fused with a one-episode Power Rangers villain. Like, this is... that's fine. I'm cool with that. And when he gets big and he loses to Megazord, that's cool too. I don't mind. But it was they started off in this. CM Punk kept trying to put the light that fell when they slammed into his pod back up all night.
That was hysterical. That was so funny. And the crowd was cheering for CM Punk to fix it.
Yeah, they were chanting, "Fix the light, fix the light."
And when he did, they popped.
And then when it fell, because Drew McIntyre kept running him into the pod, it's like, aww.
Yeah.
He turns around, he's like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like,
I tried.
Yeah. It was, that was really good. And, and then Drew McIntyre did an incredibly nice tilt-a-whirl backbreaker.
Yes, he did.
And then we get a very interesting spot that I've never seen before, I don't think, where Drew exposes the steel behind the turnbuckle pad and slingshots Seth's throat into that metal.
I've seen that happen once, and I can't remember who did it, but someone did that to Bobby Roode. Like on SmackDown several years ago.
Huh.
I can't remember who did it, though. But it still looked nice. It still looked gnarly. And Seth sold it great. And Seth sold it great.
And Damian Rodriguez came in third.
Okay, that's too harsh.
I know. I felt bad saying it. I genuinely felt bad saying
it.
But
he's not wrong.
Not even like Priest. He just needs something.
But he's not wrong.
After he loses, well, he might win against Drew McIntyre at Mania. He also needs to do something else for a little bit, learn a new hold, come back, and he should not have feuded with Finn Balor in the Judgment Day for 37 years.
Well, and the other problem is too, it's like, obviously it's not as bad as Raquel Rodriguez, but compared to the rest of the pool in this match, Damian Priest is the Raquel Rodriguez of this match.
Yeah, he kind of stood out a little bit by not standing out.
I'm sorry, I like Damien.
Me too.
I really do. I feel bad saying that.
Yeah.
But he needs
But
something.
but again, let's just call it for what he is. He was a world heavyweight champion from 2010 to 2015.
Kind of.
Because remember when the World Heavyweight Championship was that mid-card world title belt? Even though everybody knew it was the world title and said it was a world title, it was treated like a super intercontinental championship.
I was about to say.
When like, Jack Swagger had the belts.
Oh, Jack Swagger pinned Randy Orton at Extreme Rules 2010. Never forget.
For a hot cup of coffee until he got caught smoking weed with it.
And that's what Damian Priest feels like. You feel like one of those champions.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
You're
not wrong, Skyler.
He's the obligatory, this is a multi-man match. We have to put one mid-carder in here.
Yeah. Well, and John Cena comes in, he hits his greatest hits on everybody, and everybody's smiling, including Cena. That will not last. Damian Priest backslides Drew and gets the pin, and I'm like, oh, fuck, we are getting this match.
Okay, I actually love...
especially after Drew McIntyre got rid of Damian Priest, basically.
I actually loved this whole thing for several reasons. For one...
Well, I like the backslide.
For one, Drew McIntyre, once again, his character trait is he cannot close the deal because he can't remove his own head from his own arse. I love this gimmick he has where he could win, but he can't stop being a dick and it always backfires.
Holy shit, okay, I won't say it, but you've just made me make a connection of something I also have to ask Triple H for money for, but go ahead.
Also, who was not in the match when Drew McIntyre got pinned?
CM Punk.
I love that they didn't even have Punk in the match yet and Drew was already gone. I love that they're doing that they are putting as much distance between them as possible.
It's smart.
While still involving them in things like promo battles.
Yeah.
Because they did have a history. They do exist. It's just that they're doing their best not to touch each other.
Yeah, and I think it's very, very, very smart.
Agreed. Right now, they both need to be doing different things. I wish that Drew was doing a better thing.
I was just about to say, the only problem I have with this is Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest is not exactly what I would call WrestleMania caliber, and Drew deserves better. No offense,
it's a mid-card
Damian.
feud on WrestleMania. It's gonna be like Night 1's match 3.
You remember when Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania a couple years ago? What Drew McIntyre was doing was wrestling Happy Corbin. This is not as bad as that, but similar to that.
Well, to be fair, Drew is the only person who kicked out of the End of Days. So there was something that came.
Yeah.
Kurt didn't, though. Anyway.
I'm depressed now.
Well, a Super Frog Splash by Logan Paul pins Damian Priest.
That looked nasty, and I don't know if Damian was selling or in legit actual pain, but the way he reacted to that was great. Looked like he was about to vomit.
He could have just done a Frog Splash. He didn't need to do it with so high.
Yeah, it's probably a little from column A, a little from column B in that respect. I love the Cena and the CM Punk teases at first, then Seth claiming that Punk is his.
Well, first before that, I love that when Punk first came in, him and John Cena made eye contact, and Cena said, I missed you, and Punk says, oh, I missed you too. Let's fight. That was great.
Yeah, their interactions in the whole thing were terrific. I'm glad that they got to actually have as much time, just the two of them, that they did.
It was magical.
You know, they could make it if they tried, just the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry. Anyway, I can't stop it, folks. But anyway, the Logan Paul does the double clothesline, which looks awesome. But the go to sleep pins Logan Paul at the end, which was nice.
I have one criticism of the crowd and the commentary. The whole thing with Punk and Logan Paul is this past Monday night on Raw, Logan Paul slapped CM Punk in the face. Logan Paul goes for the buckshot that always looks better than hangnails. Punk twists out of it like he's going for the neck breaker, and he returns the slap. He gets a receipt for the slap. Does not register with the crowd nor the commentary. And I'm just like, really, guys? That was the whole reason why you did this bit, and now no one's going to acknowledge it other than CM Punk Logan Paul and me, and then he gives him the go to sleep and pins him.
And the weeping AEW fans.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just.
Read them and weed. Read them and weep. Cope and seethe.
Even the AEW references are lost on the WWE fans. That's just justice.
Yeah.
That is justice. But then we get I loved right after that, CM Punk, as Logan Paul is laying there, pantomime's burying them with a shovel.
Yeah. He said he was going to do it on Raw when he was yelling at him during their promo. He said, I'm going to bury you. And then he did.
And you know how many AEW marks are like, you see, this is why CM Punk is the worst ever. It's because of that. You know, and they probably thought that he did it for real because they get ironically worked when they think they're smart.
Okay, but can we move on to the next thing?
Yes.
The heart attack that Skyler is desperately waiting to happen.
No. So CM Punk and Cena and Rollins are left. They do a little bit of fit and whatever. And then it ends up being like Cena and Punk, and they do the thing where they do the handshake and the hug, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they start fighting each other, and the crowd is all in on this. And then Seth Rollins gets involved because, you know, he has to be a dick or whatever.
Well, all right, real quick, before you continue.
You glossed it over quite a lot, sir.
Real
I'm
quick.
trying to finish this review in time so that way I can go get dinner so my mom ain't angry at me.
Well, before you go get dinner.
M1.
CM Punk and John Cena turning back the hands of time. I was like, what year is this? They have not missed a step. It was weird, but it was amazing watching them go. They have once in a generation chemistry. Like, the chemistry that they have is unreal.
And, you know, and then Cena hits the STF, which the first one sucked.
Oh, God, that STF. There was so much daylight through it. Neil deGrasse Tyson was inside explaining to a person why he did it.
I talked down to somebody about the space in between the hands and the head. But I will say this. That ended up being a crucial piece of storytelling for this match, knowing what we know now.
Yep.
But then an AA gets, Punk at 2. This is where I point that these two tussling is a nice wave of nostalgia, and how they still have chemistry. The Buckle Bomb Stomp, Punk, CM Punk kicked out of fucking everything.
Yes, he's the new Super Cena, which is so ironic.
Literally. They had CM Punk kick out of everything and a half.
Yes.
On this night. And, they do the GTN, and then the go to sleep in the AA pin Seth. Then another go to sleep, another AA.
No. Hold on, Sean. They do this thing where Seth Rollins gets pinned, and John Cena, after already hugging CM Punk, goes to give him a handshake, and CM Punk is like, fuck you, and hits him. And I look at this, and I'm just like, God damn it, stupid babyface John Cena. You already hugged him in the match. Why are you giving him a handshake again?
And the commentators chewed him out for it, which deservedly so.
Which, given what happened later on, I'm like, okay, fine. You wanted to get one last dumb babyface moment in, but fuck you still, John Cena.
Yeah, well...
This was the peak moment of, dumb babyface John Cena that Joshua hated for so long, and even got me towards the end.
Well, I wish that the competency level was not parallel with the guy who was shooting the camera angle where it was very clear that the door was open long after Seth was eliminated, which is usually telegraphing that shit's still gonna go down.
Yep.
And so that's on Mr. Fitting there.
Yeah.
But that's how I kind of knew that where they were heading with at least the result of this, because Punk is slowly getting. I forget how he gets to the point where he's on the bottom rope.
Him and John have a bunch of different moves that they try to counter each other with their finishers, and then Punk eventually hits a go to sleep. But the problem is that he's tired, so he hangs over the ropes.
And that's when Seth gets him with the stomp.
John was trying to put him in the STF, and Punk kicked him off, but his head was in between the ropes, and that's when Seth took advantage.
What it was. And And then when Seth hit that, and then
John Cena, his eyes lit up like he was a kid on Christmas.
That he had the opportunity, pulls him back for the STF, but this was not the STF you have seen of 20 years. This was a William Regal, I'm going to choke you out STF.
Yes.
This was an STF.
And when this, and also first off, Mazel Tov to Seth Rollins, who was outside the ring screaming, "Die! Die! Die!" Jesus, Seth, we know you have a vicious hate boner for the man. You need to calm down. You're going to have your own heart attack.
Petty boy king from Game of Thrones looking at his enemy like, "Die, you son of a bitch, die!"
Yeah,
but
literally.
The fact that John Cena won this way, I was like, did he just cheat to win? And I said in the chat,
it was plausible enough that like he took advantage of a situation to where it wasn't that John did anything, it's just that he took advantage of Seth Rollins attacking Punk, and you could plausibly spin that off into that feud.
Yeah, and it also...
Yeah, I agree with Sky. There was reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I genuinely wasn't like, oh, that was, he was capitalizing on a heel. He's just like, this is his last shot. This is the time to get his shot. So,
And I was more thinking of the Seth Rollins and CM Punk are going to have a feud at Mania thing. That wasn't the thing of John Cena is taking advantage of something.
That's the way I took it. And it also because it made me think of when CM Punk turned heel in 2012, when he basically did something very similar when Big Show punched John Cena and knocked him out. And instead of helping John, he took advantage and tried to pin him, and funnily enough, The Rock was also involved with that. So a nice little parallel there.
Well, and I was really invested when Cena won because I thought where they were heading with this was that now Cody's decision was a lot less secure. Because now here comes John Cena, and John Cena is a guy who, no matter what his losing streak has been, is still John Cena. And Cody, in his desperation, and because he had started to really love the taste of power that came with his belt, was going to slowly, he would maybe say no now, but the conversation over the next several weeks would eventually lead to where Cody turned and went on a vicious streak and accepted The Rock's offer ultimately at WrestleMania. That's not where they went with this.
No. I honestly, the second John Cena...
I would arguably say they made a better choice.
Honestly, the second John Cena, like, his eyes lit up and he took advantage, I knew that he was going to make Punk pass out, and I was like, oh my god, they might actually turn him heel. That's where my brain started going. But before we get to the main event with your boy Dwayne, this chamber match was fantastic. This was a great chamber.
Once it got past the ancillary characters, that didn't matter.
I would say even they held up their end of the bargain. I loved this entire match. I thought this was better than the women's match, and the women's match was really good. I thought this was a fantastic match from start to finish.
Yeah, I didn't really zone out halfway through the way I did with the women's match. It's like I feel like the men kept me all involved enough at enough times, and it was very well paced throughout the whole thing. Who came in, what they did, even though it sounded like they were rolling a Beyblade every time that somebody entered.
Yeah.
But in any case,
they have to find a new sound effect every year. They can't decide on one.
I know. But after this match ended, the words I put on my paper were, this is going to be a bigger angle than I thought, methinks. And I did not realize how accurate that statement was going to be.
The fact that they immediately went to Cody coming out, I was like, oh, something's about to happen. Something's about to go down.
Now, see, I suspected that. I suspected that whoever the chamber winner was going to be involved in this angle. It made sense with how they laid it out. Mm-hmm. Right? But not like that. Not like this.
Honestly, my brain was like, the whole time that Cody was coming out, and The Rock and his best friend Travis Scott, who was also there for some reason.
Before you continue, let's talk about that for a second.
Well, let me finish my thought.
Yes.
Let me finish my thought. The longer, like, was like, is John Cena still in the ring? The longer I noticed that John Cena was still in the ring, the more I was like, oh my god, they're actually going to do it. But continue with what you were saying.
Well, yeah, I really never felt that. I genuinely never thought it. I think maybe just because of the conditioning of my brain over the past 20 years, like, there's no point to that. They'd rather do something interesting with Cody, and that was not what happened. But let's talk about Travis Scott. Because The Rock comes down with this guy, and they make some sort of mashup theme. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just have The Rock come out with... If you're going to have Travis Scott, just have Travis Scott come out to The Rock's theme.
Hey, Sean, guess what?
V.
I hate that song so much.
The song is rough.
Dude, going from Poppy and her awesome song New Way Out at this show to that at Mania makes me sad.
Yeah, it ain't great. And Travis Scott comes out with, I guess, his own custom belt.
Yeah, it was like
Everybody's got to have a belt, even the celebrities.
it was a if they made a hardcore title out of the current WWE title.
Here's my problem with that. I don't mind Travis Scott being here and doing absolutely nothing for this entire segment. I really don't mind any of that. What I do mind is if you're going to have a segment involving the actual WWE champion, don't bring your stupid custom belt out in the middle of the major segment. One of the most major segments in the history of the WWE.
Yeah, and, although I will say he pretty much put the belt away after his entrance. Because
the belt was on him while he was standing in the ring until they started beating up Cody Rhodes. But we're way too much. We should not give Travis Scott any more attention than we should.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, Sky, but he's going to be around more than you think. He's Rodman in this up. He's been trained to wrestle, buddy. So buckle the fuck up.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, let's get to our next joke, because The Rock and Travis Scott get to the ring. The Rock holds Cody's cheek, and I said, "Now kiss."
Yeah, this was weird. This was the gentle caress of Cody's cheek, and I'm like, the tension between these two, every time they have a promo since WrestleMania, has been suspect, and that's the mildest way I could put it.
Yeah. I mean, I think The Rock had a little too much Stardust before he came out there.
In the press conference, he said, "Yeah, I've had too much tequila." But anyways, the point is that he comes out, he does his Rock thing of like, "All right, Cody, I want your answer." Yep, what's your answer gonna be?
And
all right.
says,
well, hold on. I was delivering pizza in my car, and I was listening, not so much watching, and I parked at a customer's house, and I gave them their pizza. The Rock had the first time my jaw dropped in this segment when he said, "If you say yes, the American Nightmare will live on forever. If you say no, the dream dies again." When he said that, I was like, is he insinuating what I think? Yes. You piece of shit. Bro. Yes. My jaw hit the floor. Yeah, what a line. I was like, you absolute bastard for that.
You know, yeah, that was one. And then Cody's like, "I want it all. I have no soul, because my soul is theirs." And everybody cheered, and and we knew that was coming, but what we didn't know was coming was Rock, go fuck yourself.
When he said that, okay, I'm glad that my customers were in their house enjoying their pizza, because if they were outside, they would have seen their Pizza Hut driver bouncing up and down inside his car, screaming at the top of his lungs. I lost my shit when that happened.
So did I. I was like, oh shit.
I still cannot believe they had him say that.
Uncensored.
Bro.
Not just uncensored on the pay-per-view, but uncensored on their social media and their YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude.
They wanted to make sure.
I mean, we knew that they were going to use crass language when the situation called for it, but we never imagined it would be that crass.
No. Oh, I was not prepared.
And that wasn't even the most shocking thing on the night in this segment.
Within the next 30 seconds.
It's just like, I can't believe they were going to do that. And then John Cena's in the background just doing his thing where, like, when he's in the background of the segment and he's reacting, his reactions were so good.
And he's still there the whole time, and I'm like, oh my god, he's still there. When he said that to The Rock, once I was done ejaculating, I was like, when Cody turned to Cena and they started like hugging and embracing, before Cena even made the change in expression, I was like, oh my god, they're actually gonna turn him heel.
That's the thing. I didn't see it.
Haha, very funny. I was going back and forth. I was like, oh my god, when he quote unquote cheated to beat Punk, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna turn him heel. No, they're not. I'm just seeing things. Wait, he's still in the ring. Are they gonna turn him heel? Nah, I don't. He's still in the ring though. But after Cody said that to The Rock, I was like, oh my god, they're actually gonna do it. And then...
But again, it did not hit until the facial expression was made and then The Rock did the throat slash.
And everyone lost their minds. Not just the people watching, not just the people in the arena, in the stadium. Everyone on social media, everyone on X, everyone on Facebook,
lost its mind.
Everyone on Instagram, everyone on everywhere, everyone on everything went nuts.
Yeah. This was maybe the single largest heel turn in specifically WWE's history.
Yes.
I don't count WCW just because, I mean, yes, it's their intellectual property now and blah, 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 but it was not their initial shock to claim.
Yeah.
It may be the biggest turn since Andre turned on Hogan.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Because Andre turning on Hogan was, you're right. I think that's comparable. I think it's more comparable to that than I think it is.
Austin turning on Rock and
Austin turning on Rock, or even Hogan at Bash at the Beach. I think it's more akin to Andre turning on Hogan. I think that's way more accurate, Sky.
And the thing is that John Cena is an institution. He's a generational babyface. He hasn't been a heel since 2005. We've had 4 different presidents since then.
2003. November 6, 2003 is when he officially became babyface.
Oh my god. I was... November what? What did you say? November... November the 6th? I was 5!
Yeah.
Sonic Heroes hadn't come out. Revenge of the Sith hadn't come out. Bro.
I was still in my original hometown. I moved 3 times in my lifetime.
Babies have
I
been
was still in my original hometown at that point. I would move in a month.
Babies have been born during this time period that can now legally drive.
And drink.
They're generational babyface John Cena. Over 20 years of him being a babyface. Millions of Make-A-Wish grants. Millions of kids touched. All of it. And he finally turned heel. He was the one guy that you could say, no, he's never going to be a heel. Especially on his retirement tour, when it's supposed to be the last year of his wrestling. And who knows? Maybe he'll go back on that and say, yeah, I'm not retiring. Fuck you guys. I'm going to keep doing it as long as I want to.
Honestly, I'd be fine with that. Because that would be a dick move.
They've got time to do whatever they want with Johnny. They've got 32 dates left of this 36-date run, and there's plenty of time.
But the thing is that this beatdown that Cena unleashes on Cody Rhodes, it makes every beatdown that's not been in a match, like any angle beatdown, pale in comparison. The violence that they did, the beat-ups, the multiple times. The only thing I wasn't a fan of was Travis Scott doing an unchecked receipt to the back of Cody's head.
Yeah, but...
Well, there was another moment of Travis Scott, which we'll talk about in a second, but the watch shot that gave Cody that wicked shiner.
Yep.
The belt shot. the belt shot.
Damn.
That sounded like when Brock Lesnar hit the ring post at Mania 31.
Ooh.
You heard a definitive ping
Yup.
of Cody's skull hitting metal.
They did not hold back. It was.
I talk a lot. My jaw. I literally just had my hand over my agape mouth.
Me too.
This entire thing, I could not say a word.
Me either.
Until Travis Scott, as John Cena has Cody down, as Travis Scott lifts up Cody's head and keeps lifting him up and keeps lifting him up to the point where Cody's going to snap in half. And John Cena just gently takes Cody's head and just pushes him back down to the mat going, no. We're going to not kill Cody Rhodes today. We're going to just do this beatdown, or you just leave this to us.
No. And the way that John Cena covered for is that he put his knee right on the back of Cody's head.
Yeah.
And there's one thing we haven't brought up yet that I'm about to bring up that made this even better for me personally. Michael Cole. For the past, 10, 11, 12, 13 years, whenever...
especially the last 3 or 4.
Whenever John Cena is mentioned, Michael Cole does nothing but fondle John Cena's balls for minutes upon minutes upon minutes. I was literally complaining about it in our group chat during the show. Michael Cole giving John Cena the most epic blowjob of all time. Just for this to happen. And I was like, 1, Michael Cole, you deserve this for being so annoying. 2, Michael Cole started swearing. That made me start laughing and getting into this even more. That was another piece that just made this so perfect.
And then Wade Barrett calling out Michael Cole for it, saying, that's your boy, that's the guy you like, right?
Dude, during the whole show, he was like, man, you got that chapstick, Michael Cole, when he was slobbering all over Cena's taint. And then Michael Cole was like, well, I remember when John Cena beat this pitiful little group called Nexus. And Wade Barrett was like, you didn't have to go there, man. That was funny.
Now, Wade is very coy when he makes these jokes. They're subtle, but they're funny.
Yes. Wade Barrett's my favorite. Wade is my favorite commentator.
But they do this. Cena steps on Cody's face. Cody gets tons of juice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, The Rock has ultimately won the war here. And John Cena's just soulless, stone-faced look with his big Fred Flintstone eyebrows and his bald spot on the back, but it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was exactly what it was perfect. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely perfect, down to the last detail on Travis Scott.
All right, Homelander, calm down.
But it really, for what we all expected or wanted out of a John Cena heel turn for so many years, and that's really, I was talking to JoshAgeddon before the show. I was in a daze the whole day afterwards.
Oh, me too.
Just like, is this real? Did this really happen? Like, because for so many years, a generation of wrestling fans left professional wrestling because of John Cena's babyface reign. And it wasn't John Cena's fault. It was a byproduct of the guy that was fruity pebbling him up.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't on John. As much as people wanted to blame John and boo him at the same time that he was getting cheered, it wasn't about them. It wasn't about John. That was all Vince McMahon. And that was the way he did it. And they rejected it even further when Vince tried to do it with Roman. And look what's happened to both of these individuals. But John was the guy who never turned heel. But it got to the point where all of us were like, okay, fine. You know what, John? We respect your morals. You've stuck it out for this long. Like, you've earned our respect for what you are as an entity. And just as the fans have started to just completely unilaterally cheer him for him, this.
Yup.
And to show, this is another indicator, just like Punk coming back was, just like Cody winning at WrestleMania was, this is a further cementation that this is a different administration.
Yep.
This is a different situation. You are seeing different programming than you saw all those years ago. And they're acknowledging that it is going to take time to unlearn this trauma. But we will make your investment worth it. And we are going to make sure that you as fans are at least given something once in a while.
Yeah.
And just the historical significance of the moment.
Dude.
Especially considering that it's gotten like over 100 million views all over the place.
Dude, that was just in the first...
It's up to 200 million after 24 hours.
Look at that.
Damn.
That's insane.
Yes.
That's insane.
That is monumental.
That is actually insane.
That puts the mental in monumental.
Well, and think about this. What must Vince McMahon be thinking, seeing everything that he stood for undone and it doing record business? Get punished.
Yes, that's nicer than what I was gonna say. I was gonna say get fucked, but
yeah.
But here's my thing.
Go fuck yourself, Vince McMahon.
Hey Vince,
Literally.
go fuck yourself.
Literally.
But anyway, on that note, Sean, Skyler, we've known each other a long time.
We have.
Who's the biggest Cena hater that you've known?
You.
For a while, it was you there, my friend.
Indeed. And a lot of that might have just been youthful angst, I will admit. But over the past several...
There was a lot that was justified, though, too.
Yeah, but I may have been a little over the top, I will say. I'm over the top in a lot of things. Like, just, we have 2 hours of evidence of me being over the top a lot of the time, but...
That's why we're here.
But over the past several years, I've very, very, very much softened up my stance on John Cena. For fuck's sake, I'm using him in major storylines on my own wrestling show. Not just burying him over and over and over. I'm actually having him win and be important. And I'm going to say something that would shake younger me to his very core. His little virgin core. After what we saw this past Saturday... I fucking love John Cena now. He was perfect. He was so good during the whole thing. And I have so much respect for, like, all that even the stuff that I don't like from what and even, like, what drove me crazy. Like, the whole thing where he beat Kevin Owens at Battleground and it made me so mad that I turned the TV off. The first show that made me rage quit.
Okay, so not that I want to, like, stop this, but I have to go soon. I actually legitimately have to go.
All right.
Is it okay if I just give my grade just so I can...
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Sky. Throw us your rating and then bail. Lead.
It's just...
Go ahead.
The thing for me is that as one of John Cena's biggest fans, I enjoyed this. I really did, and this was exceptional. And it really did save the show to the point where I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. Even if I didn't love all the matches... The angles were great. We are truly in a new era of booking, and I'm just looking forward to WrestleMania. I was not hyped. I was like, okay, WrestleMania season, yeah. You know, Jey Uso comes there, Charlotte. This is giving me a pep in my step, and I'm ready for the show.
Oh, yeah.
April cannot come soon enough.
Agreed.
Me too. Hell yes.
No, I do have to go, guys, unfortunately.
All right. We love you, Skyler.
Hang in there, buddy. You are the... Oh, he's gone.
Now back to what I was saying. Back to me. Number one John Cena hater, now profess that I love this man. That would absolutely... Younger me wants to find my address, which, dipshit, it's the same address. I haven't gone anywhere. What the fuck are you doing? This was amazing. And I have a lot of respect for John Cena, despite the fact that I wanted to murder him a decade ago. Like that, so much has changed. I've grown up, I've matured, allegedly, and just this was so great. He was so perfect in this. I cannot wait for this. I guess we're gonna go ahead and get into our final grade and our overall conclusion of this show. Which, do you care if I go ahead and go and you go last?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And just to kind of, before you do, just on your statement there, the thing is that during those years, we all had to just accept this is who John Cena was.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be the guy. It's the same exact guy. It's a different shirt. It's the same shit over and over and over. All the people that have potential, fuck you. Does not matter. John Cena matters. And we just had to just accept that. No matter what, because Vince was going to do what Vince wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, what was the phrase, Sean? What was the phrase? Cena wins, LOL.
LOL. And which is what makes me interested, because we had a Charlotte wins LOL too, which makes me think that match might be more interesting at WrestleMania than one might suspect. But anyway, back to this point, no one, I don't care what people say that they saw it coming. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. Nobody.
I'm not gonna say that I saw it coming, but I will say I had my suspicions, but I didn't believe they were gonna do it. You can.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
In their heart of hearts, no one could possibly say, "Oh, they're turning him this turn. This is what's gonna happen."
Dude, if you would have said Joshua, what's the odds of John Cena going heel? Like 36 hours ago, I would have been like, I mean, it's possible, but I doubt it. I literally watched a video about it, and I commented on that video. It would be cool if it happened, but I doubt it.
Yeah. And because everybody would doubt it, because what reason would you have to believe that John had any reason to do this in his last year? Like, why would you do that? I mean, you've just had a whole career of this. John is doing this anyway because he has a year left and he wanted to do this, and the balls of Triple H and The Rock, if he truly deserves the credit for it, which I'm sure he does.
Don't tell him that.
It took. He doesn't need me to tell him. he knows plenty himself. He'll tell us. But this is true. But this took a huge amount of balls to do.
Dude, it took titanium nuts for them to have Cody say fuck on TV.
Yeah, this was a huge moment in professional wrestling history. This is up there with the streak ending. Mm-hmm. This is up there with Goldberg beating Brock Lesnar in 1 minute and 16 seconds, which, say what you want about those two, but that was a pretty shocking fucking moment. This tops some of the wildest moments in WWE history. And that covers a lot of territory. Yeah. And to the point where I watched this, and as I was watching it, I was saying to myself, this is history right here. Mm-hmm. People are going to be saying 20, 30 years from now, I saw this happen live.
I was in a random person that I've never met's driveway, and I saw it happen.
But it's going to be one of those kind of moments in wrestling. And they don't happen very often. And when you get to see them, it really puts a lot of validation to what we do.
My only complaint is, why didn't I get the morning shift so I could watch this show live?
I know. Well, because you had to be punished first before you can get paid. So, once I do a small bit of magic here, watch the magic happen. See, the magic is when magic happens and you see poof and you don't even know what happened. And then when it happens, it is absolutely tremendous. When it happens, boom, magic. Let's get to the ratings of this show.
For those on the TAP, that was a track change. I just killed kayfabe. I'm sorry.
Well, and now for all the people in TAP, heard you say that, and now thank you for all of that. And now they just have to keep all of that in.
Yep.
So, Josh, again, why don't you give us your rating now that my cover and kayfabe is completely blown?
Joshua ruins everything. All right. This show was tremendous. I loved the women's chamber match. Think about that. Joshua Campbell, just said I loved the women's something on a wrestling show. I loved the women's chamber match.
Well, I will say this, too, to Triple H's credit. It's not all the time, but it is happening more frequently with the women now than it used to.
Well, yeah, because Sonya Deville doesn't work there anymore. It's pretty cool.
She wasn't even the worst in that Rumble.
Yeah, but anyway.
That being said, though, good luck.
Yeah, in your future endeavors that don't involve the company Endeavor. The women's chamber match was the best they've ever done. Tag match existed, whatever. I had some issues with the unsanctioned match, but overall I enjoyed it, although I do think it could have been better. Could have been much better. The second that the men's chamber started to the finish line. I know it's a Zoomer thing and it's kind of cringe, but I'm going to say it anything. Cinema. It was absolute cinema.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my god. I am so mad that I did not get to watch this live in my house. If I did, I probably would have burned my house down. But this show was amazing. After the Royal Rumble, we were kind of like, I mean, we get why you did that, but that doesn't exactly make me excited for WrestleMania, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the feeling that's been everywhere is something's
overlying the whole Mania season up to this point.
Yeah, like everyone's been like, I don't know, it was something's missing. Something's missing. Well, I am pleased to inform everyone that we found it. We found it. Yeah. We found that secret sauce, man. We found the Krabby Patty secret formula.
Yes, we sure did.
This was incredible. I so badly want to watch Monday Night Raw. I'm probably going to stay up very late tonight so I can watch. After this show's over, I'm going to go to the store and destroy my kidneys a little more with another Monster Energy drink. Pray for me. Once again, this show was incredible. I'm going to go just a little bit higher than Skyler. I so badly want to give the show a 10 out of 10. I'm not going to because, again, the women's tag match was and the unsanctioned match had some issues, but bro, this is the best thing they've done since WrestleMania 40. Backlash France was a little bit of competition, but that's all just because they were in France. I'm giving this show a 9 out of 10. Fantastic show.
Well, I will give my 2 cents by basically reading to you the last page of my notes. The first 3 or 4 sentences of this, I'm writing on a green pad, which is just a yellow pad, but it's green. And all of these sentences take up 2 spaces each. All of these words are large enough because I'm writing so frantically. And maybe I'll take a photo and throw it on the CMP just so people can see it. But in 2 spaces, I say, holy shit, they did it. My fucking God, that belt shot, my pants are wet.
You also sent that to our group chat.
This is Hollywood versus WWE, which I love. They choked Cody with his tie. I am speechless. The matches were a 7 out of 10. The angles were a 10,000 out of 10 on this night. Because think about what was on this show. This show started with Jade Cargill returning and attacking Naomi. And it was the Oreo filling in the middle was Randy Orton returning and coming up and almost punting somebody. And then the main event was John Cena turning heel when nobody thought it was ever going to happen. When you have a show like that you can bookend people and get them so hooked by those 3 angles, the match quality on the night could have sucked ass, and it wouldn't have mattered. That is the formula that they have tapped into so well since Triple H has taken over. And it is incredible. And I have to say, they did the post-show angle, which was basically just Cody looking up, and you could see his nasty shiner and people walking him to the back, and then that was the end of the show. If you're going to go one way or the other, where you give me okay matches with insanely good angles as opposed to angles with really good matches, I would rather take this. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10 as well.
Woohoo! There we go.
This was one of the best Elimination Chamber pay-per-views I think they've ever had.
This is the best Elimination Chamber pay-per-view they've ever had. Full stop.
I don't think that's an exaggeration. I really don't. I think it's really been tremendous. And that's what makes me think like they deliberately did try to piss us off at the Rumble.
Perhaps.
So they could give us this. There's part of me that thinks that that was on purpose. That company heat was deliberate, and they wanted to do that in this segment. Now it could be just incompetence, and they've done this pivot to reel us back in. There's a line from Ben Shapiro of stupidity until proven malice. And that could very well be the case for what happened at the Royal Rumble. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But the whole thing here is that these guys know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they have continually reassured us, trust us. We know what we're doing. We are not going to fuck around. I mean, we are going to fuck you around, but we're not going to deliberately just shit on you. That was the other guy.
Yeah.
Quite literally. We will give you what you want, but you're going to want what we want you to want. And they are doing a great job of getting us to want it.
Yeah. Dude. WrestleMania can't get here fast enough.
What a great time to be a wrestling fan.
I know.
I don't feel the shame associated with being a wrestling fan anymore because I can actually point to quite a lot that I'm very proud of when it comes to professional wrestling over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And go, this is why I watch.
Yep.
This is what makes this entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not is this real or not? There is so much more to the layering of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will have to say this, just to bookend this idea. There's this guy at my church who's developmentally disabled, the brother of one of the ministers, who is the sweetest human being on the planet. His name's Dennis. He's a big pro wrestling fan. And he very much likes who you're supposed to like and dislikes who you're not supposed, you know, he's in it the way that they want you to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love talking to him about wrestling because it keeps what it's all really about in perspective, you know, because sometimes our markishness gets the better of us,
mm-hmm.
you know, because of just who, you know, what we are and how long we've been doing this. When I saw him on Sunday, I'm like, dude, what happened on last night? He goes, oh, I don't know. I'm like, oh, you didn't watch? And he goes, no. I'm like, oh, then I'm not going to spoil it for you. You're going to get hurt, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. And he goes, okay, I can't wait to watch it. I'm like, we're going to talk about it afterwards.
And then the Titanic music started playing.
I genuinely didn't have the heart to tell him the truth.
Oh.
And you know, part of me makes me really appreciative of professional wrestling in that regard. Because that's exciting to me. Seeing kayfabe play out in real time, that's exciting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and I love Dennis. Dennis, you're the man. You're not listening to this, but if you are,
you are not a menace.
You are not. No, he is the opposite of a menace. He is one of the kindest souls on this planet, and I cannot wait to see what WrestleMania season has to bring. Folks, thank you very much for taking a part of your day, a long part of your day, to listen to us be a bunch of idiots and give our review to the Elimination Chamber here at the Court Martial Podcast. And even though we have recorded a lot of Court Martial Podcast reviews that have ended up just being totally awesome podcasts, you will see us at WrestleMania. I promise you, you will see us at WrestleMania. That is a Shorty G guarantee.
God.
Go see ACPW versus NWL. We got to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back right after this.
You had to kill it right at the end. Also, their SCCG, South Carolina Championship Wrestling somewhere in there, lurking about, looking to shank you in the middle of the night. Just like John Cena, turning heel when you least expect it. But thank you guys so much for watching or listening. This is a podcast after all. How many fingers am I holding up? You don't know, you dumb bitch. Have a like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Good night, everybody. I had to kill.
He's holding up his thumb.
I'm holding up my third leg. Good night, everybody.